from Sapphire, we have the Toxic Edition of the R9 270X graphics card. This one here comes with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory and, of course, Toxic additional features, which you will not find in a regular reference design card. Now, right off the bat, on the top of the card, which I'll show you in a second, you've got the dual bias switch with Sapphire added a little button there so you can take advantage of Windows 8 and the speed boost of going right into Windows 8 much faster, bypassing the legacy BIOS. Now, of course, should you want something overclocked even further, well, the Toxic Edition has that with 1150 megahertz on the core and 6000 megahertz on the memory clock effectively. The design is larger, and we'll look at this more in detail compared to the reference design specs, which you can see right here. Those are the reference design. The card itself is large, comes with a complete package though, with all the manuals, cables that you would need, such as this HDMI cable right there, so you want to have 3 monitors in Infinity display, for example. There you've got your Molex and your PCI Express converter cables for your power supply should you have an older power supply, and of course a DVI to VGA out adapter should you have an older VGA display. Now, the drivers, I always recommend downloading the latest drivers should you decide to take it fully advantage. And of course, if you buy 2 of these cards, you can have them in Crossfire. Comes with a bridge connector. There she is. She's about foot long, by the way. 3 fans for the Tri-X cooling. As you can see there, nice color coordination of that goldy orange type of black on feeling there that you can see on those nice 10 millimeter fans. Very cool, very quiet. And of course, you're only going to see this on high-end graphics cards these days. Most graphic cards only come with 1 fan. These ones come with 3. Of course, you've got 2 DVI, your HDMI and DisplayPort, a beautiful backplate, which makes this card slightly wider, right? 2.2 in width, really, when it comes to the design of this, if you're talking about the width. But 2.2 slot width is very nice. If you have a large case, make sure that you can fit a foot-long video card. Basically, 12 inches is what this puppy can comfortably fit inside a case that has that width. And of course, looking at the top there, you can see that dual bias switch that I mentioned that you can enable for Windows 8 to take advantage of that UEFI. And of course, should you decide to use the Crossfire, there are the connectors. And over here, 2 6-pin PCI Express connectors. And at the bottom, you can see the vapor chamber there of this extra large and long heatsink, which is going to dissipate excellent. And should you decide to turn on and see the logo very nice inside of your case, wow, she is a beauty. Look at that. And there's the little button that I was talking about should you take advantage of the UEFI Windows 8 features. Now, of course, it has these LEDs there for temperature control, so it tells you when your card is overheating. So that's, high-end, nice enthusiast features there. Looks good in my case, tell you that. But hey, let's look at the system that I'm going to be testing this in, shall we? As you can see here on the specs in Windows 7, though, we're looking here at this card from Sapphire. As you can see, PCI Express 3.0 and, of course, the DirectX 11.1, but it will support DirectX 11.2 and higher. So, this is something that we want when we're looking at the next generation graphic cards, and this one here is no different. Pre-overclocked out of the factory, of course, has additional boost, which you're not going to get on other cards. And this one here, of course, on idle runs very cool and quiet, about 26 degrees Celsius on idle. Okay, as you can see right there, it's on idle right now. And should you pump this all the way up to 100%, temperatures rise to about 58 degrees Celsius, which is really good compared to other graphic cards these days. Here's the system that I'll be testing this card on. As you can see, the AMD FX top-of-the-line processor from AMD with 16 gigs of memory on an Asus board, and of course, the card from Sapphire. Now, looking at some benchmarks, starting with DirectX 10 benchmarks from 3D Mark Vantage, you can see there the GPU score. That's what we're really looking at and comparing to other graphics cards. And of course, you really don't need to overclock this card any further. It already has the boost. So there you go. There are the scores compared to other graphic cards and generations, should you decide to compare when you go shopping. And of course, 3D Mark 11, DirectX 11 benchmarks. Again, we're looking at graphics scores and the performance score overall on this system of 8599 compared to other graphic cards that I tested. And as you can see, this one outperforms very good. And also, if you're curious about 3D Mark Firestrike, here are the benchmarks for the standard performance, and on the extreme, here are the results for that as well, should you want to compare with other graphic cards that I reviewed in my other video reviews. Now, moving along to some more game benchmarks. I know you're waiting for those. On the open beta of Battlefield 4, running it on Ultra. That's right, we're playing multiplayer here on 1080p. Super smooth graphics, as you can see. Not a lag in sight. Beautiful. Can't wait for the full version. Battlefield 3, of course, we're running very nicely here on the Frostbite 2 engine. And as you can see there on Eyefinity on high settings, not a blimp. Here we got also Farcry 3, looking at ultra settings on both 1080p and in Eyefinity mode. You can see there, very nice, respectable, smooth frames per second. Tomb Raider, again, ultra high preset settings on 1080. There you go. And of course, on Eyefinity triple monitor display, there are the results for that. Should you be a hardcore gamer, you're into the Crytek engine and you like Crysis 3, well, Crysis really does push graphic cards to the limit, and you can see here how it does with this card. Sleeping Dogs, brand new game. I used the built-in benchmarks, and you can see here the different results that I got on 1080p and also in the Eyefinity results. There you have it. Also, Aliens vs. Predator benchmarks. Beautiful results from there as well. Very fast on the high preset settings. The card is a beautiful sight to see with the triple Triax fans that run really quiet on auto. No need to blast them. Very nice. Great job with those heat sinks and the heat pipes going through there to add that additional cooling. And of course, that boost in overclocking does matter. And I'd like to thank Sapphire for providing it. Comment below, let me know what you think. I'll add the latest pricing and the link if you're interested, and thank you for watching.